Hello and welcome to a short story scene. I'm your host, the storyteller, and here we have a tale called Inferno by Dante Alighieri. Canto 1. Midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. Ah me, how hard a thing it is to say, what was the forest savage, rough and stern, which in the very toughest, newest renews the fear. So bitter it is, death is little more. But of the good to treat, which there are I found, speak will I of the other things I saw there. I cannot well repeat how there I entered. So far I was of slumber at the moment in which I had abandoned the true way. But after I had reached the mountain's foot, at the point where the valley terminated, which had with consternation pierced my heart, upward I looked and beheld its shoulders, vested already with the planet's rays, which leadeth others right by every road. Then was the fear of little quieted, that my heart's lakes had endured throughout the night which I had passed so piteously, and even as he who with distressful breath forth issued from the sea upon the shore, turns to the water perilous and gazes, so did my soul, and still was fleeing onward, turn itself back and re-behold the past, which never yet a living person left. After my weary body I had rested, and away resumed I on the desert slope, so that the firm foot ever was the lower. Ah, lo! Almost where the ascent began, a panther lay of swift exceedingly, which with a spot skin was covered over, and never moved she from before my face, nay, rather did impede so much my way, and that many times I to return had turned. And time was that the beginning of the morning, and up the sun was mounting was those stars, that with him were what time the love divine, and first in the motion set this beauteous things, so were me occasion of good hope, and revigorated skin of the wild beast. In the hour of time, the delicious season, but not so much that did not give me fear, a lion's aspect which appeared to me. He seemed as if against me he were coming with head uplifted and with ravenous hunger, so that it seemed that the air was afraid of him, and a she-wolf that with all hungerings seemed to be laden in her meagerness, and many folk was caused to live forlorn. She brought upon me so much heaviness with the affright that from her aspect came, that I the hope relinquished of the height, and as he is who willingly acquires, and the time comes that causes him to lose, who weeps in all his thoughts and in his despondent, even with such made me in the beast withouten peace, which coming on against me by degrees thrust me back thither where the sun is silent, while I was rushing downward to the low land. Before mine eyes did one present himself, who seemed from long continued silence hoarse. When I beheld him in the desert vast, have pity on me, upon him I cried. Whichever thou art, or shade or real man, he answered me, not man, man once I was, and both my parents were Lombardy and Mantuans, and the country both of them. So sub Julio was I born, though it was late, and I lived at Rome under the good Augustus, during the time of false and lying gods. A poet I was, and I sang that just, son of Antaeus, who came forth from Troy, after the Elion of the suburb was burned. But thou, why goest thou back to such annoyance? Why climbest thou not the mount delectable, which is the source of cause of every joy? No, art thou with Virgilius and that fountain which spreads abroad so wide a river of speech? I made respond to him with blushful forehead. O of the other poets honored in light, avail me with the long study and great love that have impelled me to explore thy volume. Thou art my master, and thou my author, thou art alone and one from whom I took the beautiful style that has done honor to me. Behold the beast for which I have turned back. Do thou protect me from her, famous sage, for she doth make me veins and pulses tremble. Thy it behooves to take another road, responded he, when he beheld me weeping. If from this savage place thou wouldest escape, because this beast at which thou criest out suffers not any one to pass her way, but so doth harass him that she destroys him, and has a nature so malign and ruthless, and that never doth she glut her greedy will, and after food is hungrier than before. Many the animals with whom she weeds, and more that they shall be still, until the greyhound comes, who shall make her perish in her pain. He shall not feed on either earth or pelf, but upon wisdom and on love and virtue. Twixt Filtro and Filtro shall his nation be. Of that low Italy shall be he the Savior, on whose account the maid Camilla died, and Ulysses and Turnus and Nissus and their wounds. Through every city shall be her hunt her down, until he shall have driven her back to hell, there from whence envy first did let her loose. Therefore I think that the judge it for thy best, thou follow me, and I will be thy guide, and lead thy hands through the eternal place, where thou shalt hear the desperate lamentations, shall see the ancient spirits disconsolate, who cry out each one for the second death, and thou shalt see that those who content are within the fire, because they hope to come, wherever it may be, to the blessed people, to whom they, if thou wishest to ascend, a soul shall be, for that then I am more worthy with her that at my departure I will leave thee. Because that emperor who reigns above, in that I was rebellious to his law, wills that through me none come into his city. He governs everywhere, and there he reigns, there his city and his lofty throne. Oh, happy he whom thereout he elects. And I to him, poet, I thee entreat, by the same God whom thou didst never know, so that I may escape this woe and worse. Thou wouldst conduct me there where thou hast said, that I may see the portal of St. Peter, and those thou makest so disconsolate. Then he moved on, and behind him followed. And that concludes Canto 1 of Inferno by Dante Alighieri. If you like this content and would like to support it, please head on over to the Patreon. That is www.patreon.com/short story scene. Thank you for listening, and see you next episode. Bye!